Hi, thank you for joining. On this channel, I will be documenting my efforts to resettle back home in my home country of Sierra Leone. You see, I've been a journalist for most of my professional career and working in Bermuda. I'm also a communications consultant. It's time to go home, you know? It doesn't mean I'm not going to come back. It doesn't mean I won't be coming back and forth, because Bermuda is also home. But Sierra Leone is a place that made me who I am. It's a place that I want to die in. And even though it has tremendous challenges, I just think it's time for me to go home and contribute to solutions instead of staying abroad and complaining about how things are or how they're not. It's been a journey so far. I've been going back, since my father died some 7 years ago, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And now I'm committed that starting in the first quarter of next year, I'm going to actually start laying the foundations for returning. Speaking of laying the foundations, security is sort of an issue for me. I'll get into that later, but I've already hired a contractor to sort of complete a wall project around my family homestead, which is where I'll be living. So that's the front end of it. You can see they've already dug just last week actually, they already dug the foundation, and making pretty steady progress. Okay, so the wall's coming up. It's kind of sad though, because that's a village that my father grew up in, and then he built a house there. And it was only last year that I started walling the compound. And the reason for that is that since I also spent some of my childhood there, and the place, the population has grown so fast that it's kind of tricky. It's we don't know there's like, when we were there, it was like maybe 4,000 people. Now it's over 10 times that amount, and we don't even know where people are coming from. You see, we had a civil war for 10 years, and a lot of people who fled the war or who came as rebels living in that area. And so it's not as cohesive a community as it used to be, when all the neighbors know each other, etc. And so I've always felt that African villages should not have walls. I hate this idea of a walled compound, especially in Africa. The traditional African village is a place where children can run around freely from one compound to the other. You got your village goats, your community goats who would graze from one area to the other, and there are not really any borders, but things have changed. And I resisted building a wall until recently, because there are some real dangers around, my being there. So I think I'll explain that in another episode. But yeah, so I think so. I want to talk about the title. The title, "The Africa We Want," I chose it specifically because I had a choice: the Africa we love or the Africa we want. Now, what I know is that the Africa we love isn't always the Africa we have, and that we love isn't always the Africa we want. So for example, I don't really want to put a wall around my compound, but things have changed. So for my own safety and security and the people around me, I have like 14 people who are depending on me for housing. They live in the same compound. I had to give in and make that decision to build this wall. Okay. We've already had a couple of death threats while I've been there. So this is not the kind of romantic journey. This is a journey of commitment. It's a decision that says, look, the West, the West doesn't like African people anyway, and they tolerate us at the best of times, even the Africans who are descended from, enslaved Africans, who are born there, they treat them badly, in America. And I mean, I'm not going to go on and on about that. Okay. I just want to be clear on the fact that this is, even though, I'm going home and I'm committed there, I'm committed to this place that I was born in. There are problems, but we want to make it the Africa we want. I want to contribute to that idea that, yes, even though there's issues, running away isn't the solution. Imagine if we all went back, there's millions of us abroad, well, hundreds of thousands of Sierra Leoneans. If they all went back and engage in business in a coordinated way, the standard of living will go right up, But of course, that's not going to happen, So anyway, so that's the concept. So I'll be vlogging about my experiences. I have to do two things. Number one, live securely. That's physical security. And number two, find a way to make some money. And so I'll be, starting businesses. I'll be, and I want to do it in a way that has an impact on people around me. So I can't be the only one living in a walled compound with, luxuries. I want people to benefit from my presence there, so that they can have a decent life, so that I can contribute to sustainable development. So when I was thinking about this over the last couple of weeks, I decided, let me just Google this name, and so I did. And of course, there's references to the Africa we want all over the place, and I thought, oh man, should I change this place? Should I change the title? And here's what I decided. Here's one big thing that has the name on it. This is, and I did not even know about this, but this came about in around 2014, I think. The African Union has a program, Agenda 2063, which is basically the African Union as a whole of Africa coming together, for a strategic framework for inclusive growth and sustainable development. So on the continental level, the continent is really trying to get to grips with its sustainable development. And that's exactly my journey on a personal level. I want to contribute to my country's sustainable development, so we know the Africa we want. We're not there yet, and I know that the Africa I want to live in is not quite there yet, So I think there's a lot of synergy. So I'm not going to change my name. I think there's a lot of synergy here. The AU has been running competitions in schools, having children write about the Africa they want, So I think I'm going to be able to not just vlog about my experiences and my reflections on those experiences, but also, interview poets and politicians, artists, activists, rebels, revolutionaries, all around this theme, the Africa we want. That's it. Let me know what you think of the concept. If you like it, if you want to follow along, you can subscribe. I'm actually going to start a new channel for this. I think I'll have several channels because I've got so many ideas. So I'm just going to try to develop them for the rest of Vlogmas, and maybe start 2 or 3 channels. And then next year I start traveling. Okay, but I want to know what you think now. Okay, when I go to West Africa, once I'm in Sierra Leone, I can go to Gambia, Ghana, Senegal, wherever, So there will be a form. There is a form on below here. Please let me know what you want me to, stories you want me to pursue. I'm a journalist by background and profession, so I'll be happy to take your lead on the type of stories that you think should be covered. So thanks for paying attention and see you next time.